Over the past 36 hours, the United States and its partners have launched Operation Epic Fury, one of the largest, most complex, most overwhelming military offensives the world has ever seen. Nobody's seen anything like it. We have hit hundreds of targets in Iran, including Revolutionary Guard facilities, Iranian air defense systems. Just now it was announced that we knocked out 9 ships plus their naval building, all in a matter of literally minutes. Iran's formerly supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, is dead. This wretched and vile man had the blood of hundreds and even thousands of Americans on his hands and was responsible for the slaughter of countless thousands of innocent people all across many countries. Last night, all over Iran, the voices of the Iranian people could be heard cheering and celebrating in the streets when his death was announced. The entire military command is gone as well, and many of them want to surrender into saving their lives. They want immunity. They're calling by the thousands. Combat operations continue at this time in full force, and they will continue until all of our objectives are achieved. We have very strong objectives. They could have done something 2 weeks ago, but they just couldn't get there. Earlier today, CENTCOM shared the news that 3 U.S. military service members have been killed in action. As one nation, we grieve for the true American patriots who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation, even as we continue the righteous mission for which they gave their lives. We pray for the full recovery of the wounded and send our immense love and eternal gratitude to the families of the fallen. And sadly, there will likely be more. Before it ends, that's the way it is. Likely be more, but we'll do everything possible where that won't be the case. But America will avenge their deaths and deliver the most punishing blow to the terrorists who have waged war against basically civilization. They have waged war against civilization itself. Our resolve, and likewise that of Israel, has never been stronger. America is now again the richest, most powerful nation in the world by far. But the only reason we enjoy the quality of life that we do and the freedom and security is we have done things that others are unable to do. But it's because of warriors who are willing to lay down their lives to do battle with our enemies. And they do battle better than anybody. An Iranian regime armed with long-range missiles and nuclear weapons would be a dire threat to every American. We cannot allow a nation that raises terrorist armies to possess such weapons that would allow them to extort the world to their evil will. Not going to let it happen. We're not happening to us, and we're not going to let it happen to others. The United States has the strongest military the world has ever seen. I rebuilt our military in my first term. There's never been a military like we possess. And frankly, there's nobody even close, but we are now using that military for good. We want to have it for good purpose. We're undertaking this massive operation not merely to ensure security for our own time and place, but for our children and their children, just as our ancestors have done for us many, many years ago. This is the duty and the burden of a free people. These actions are right, and they are necessary to ensure that Americans will never have to face a radical, bloodthirsty terrorist regime armed with nuclear weapons and lots of threats. For almost 50 years, these wicked extremists have been attacking the United States while chanting the slogan, "Death to America," or "Death to Israel," or both. They are the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. We are the world's greatest and most powerful nation, so we can do something about what they do. These intolerable threats will not continue any longer. I once again urge the Revolutionary Guard, the Iranian military and police, to lay down your arms and receive full immunity or face certain death. It will be certain death. Won't be pretty. I call upon all Iranian patriots who yearn for freedom to seize this moment, to be brave, be bold, be heroic, and take back your country. America is with you. I made a promise to you, and I fulfilled that promise. The rest will be up to you, but we'll be there to help. Thank you. God bless you to our incredible warriors, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
We do have some breaking news that I'm trying to confirm. It's pretty much all foreign press right now. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard is saying that up to 560 U.S. military personnel have been wounded or have lost their lives in response to the airstrikes that took out Iran's supreme leader. We mainly have foreign sources on this right now, but it was only foreign sources that were talking about Khamenei being bodied, and then that turned out to be true. Again, I'm trying to confirm this. This one's coming from Namibia's press agency. At least 560 U.S. military personnel were killed or wounded in Iranian strikes on American bases across the Middle East. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps said on Sunday the U.S. military site in Bahrain was attacked by 2 ballistic missiles, with other bases under relentless attack, resulting so far in 560 American soldiers being killed or injured. Now, if true, this would be a stunning blow against the Trump administration. The guy legitimately ran on no new wars.
We'll tell you, you're not going to have a war with me, and you're not going to have a third world war with me. That I can tell you.
And so, if this pans out to be true, it's another situation where the president jumped right over Congress to commit an act of war. But bigger than that, now there are American casualties, right? That's not to excuse the Venezuelan casualties or the Iranian casualties from the first one, not including this one. But it is to say, they're gonna have to do something about this. Forget about the social contract. The idea of the American government is such a joke right now. The idea, like the word impeachment, is such a joke right now. People have been saying they're gonna have to rework the system after all this for a little while, but they have to stop letting him show the rest of America that none of it matters, or the rest of America is going to start moving like none of it matters, because this is like the 7th act of war. No congressional approval. Now, it's being rumored that up to 500 Americans are injured or worse following this most recent act of war with no congressional approval. Congress is dominated by Republicans. That's his party. The flip side of this is, like, I don't think they would have stopped him. That's the craziest part about all of it to me, is that, like, he's had a Republican dominated Congress this entire time. It was wild to see him skip over them, like they wouldn't have just let him do what he wanted to begin with, further invalidating the American system. You didn't even have to do that, and you did that. Definitely a story to keep your eye on. As more outlets report on it, I'll probably do a quick update, like, hey, yeah, it's confirmed or it's not, just because that's a wild headline. Shoot me a follow to stay up to date.
Okay, guys, this is huge, okay, and it's happening right now. The Middle East has once again become the center of global conflict, and America is right in the middle of it. Over the past few days, the United States, alongside Israel, launched a substantial military campaign against Iran, okay? Yeah, so this came after what was reported as a strike that I don't want to say the word unalived Iran's Supreme Leader, though rumor has it that he's still out there, and other high-ranking officials, a development that has dramatically escalated tensions across the region. So the conflict is not just overseas anymore. It's now on American soil too. And when I say that, I'm talking about the American, the U.S. Military bases, okay? It's as good as America, right? I'm not talking metaphorically. 3 U.S. service members were confirmed unalived, and several others critically wounded amid retaliatory attacks, marking a new and solemn chapter in this crisis. And what has really caught the nation's attention and sparked massive debate is how deeply split public opinion is here at home. A new Reuters polls released just today shows only about 27% of Americans support the U.S. Strikes on Iran, while 43%, I'm reading this, guys, so if I don't pronounce the words correctly, please pardon me, while 43% oppose them and nearly 30% are still undecided. Yeah, so what is striking is how stark the divide is along party lines, with large majorities of Democrats opposed, most Republicans in favor, and independent almost evenly split. Okay, reading is hard, guys. Yeah, please pardon me. So on social media, the range of reaction is enormous. Okay, some Americans say we are watching a necessary show of strength. Yeah, that Iran had become an existential threat, that our allies needed to act decisively. Okay, reading again. Others, including many families of service members and younger voters, say this is a needless expansion of war, one that could lead to much longer, more destructive conflict, with ever greater costs at home. And it's not just opinion. Okay, actual protests are happening. Demonstrations have popped up in cities like Washington, D.C. and New York, with some people calling for peace and de-escalation, while others stress support for the troops and national security. Yeah, so political leaders are weighing in too. Yeah, some Republican figures, including local officials, have blasted critics of the strikes as unpatriotic, while some Democrats have pushed for diplomatic solutions rather than further military escalation. But here's the emotional heartbeat of this situation. This isn't distant politics anymore. American lives are literally on the line, and that emotional reality is fueling online conversations, trending hashtags, and very charged debate everywhere from TikTok to X. And as the story continues to unfold, it's clear the U.S. public is not unified in how they want this chapter to end, which has amplified engagement like nothing else right now. So stay with me, because in a moment we are going to unpack exactly why Americans are so divided, okay, and what this split tells us about where this nation stands at a moment of this war. Yeah, so let's continue watching the rest of the reactions. I'll come back at the end of this video to give my own final 2 cents. Let's continue watching.
Now is a good time to remind everyone that 100% of wars in all of world history have started by men, for either gaining or maintaining power. And what is happening in Iran is a perfect example of that. First of all, it's completely illegal and unconstitutional because he did not get congressional approval. And do not let anybody say that it's because he's protecting us from end weapons, because what about this? What about this? Per the White House, I thought everything otherwise was fake news. But see, it's not about that. It's about power. Because what will happen is we preemptively did this, which means they will retaliate and attack us, and we will be the victims, and he will have to declare a state of emergency, which will mean that he can stop the midterm elections, which is what he's already been trying to do. And he keeps getting roadblocked, and this is the only way that he'll be able to do that. And if he stops midterm elections, then voting in the United States as we know it is gone, done, over. So once again, 100% of wars done by men to maintain power. If it were natural, it wouldn't have to be so violent.
It's Sunday, March 1st. Today, we've seen the first reports of the deaths of U.S. soldiers as a result of U.S. escalation with Iran. According to CENTCOM, 3 U.S. service members were killed and 5 more injured. The first deaths as a result of Operation Thundercock. Operation Fortnite Battle Pass. What's the other one? Operation Put the Fries in the Bag. Operation Epstein's Fury. I'm sorry, Operation Epic Fury. This should be a moment of reflection for Americans across the country as we continue to see the deaths and injuries towards U.S. service members as a direct result of U.S. imperial activity in the Middle East. These deaths were ultimately avoidable had we not had so many U.S. service members sitting in bases across the Middle East, had we not escalated with Iran. There will be an effort by U.S. media officials and politicians to paint this as proof of the evil of the Iranian government, when realistically these soldiers should not have been anywhere near Iran to begin with. These soldiers did not die defending democracy democracy. They died defending Israeli colonial interests and U.S. imperialism. And for those of us who are anti-war, anti-imperialist, our calls must be clear: not just an end to war with Iran, but an end to the U.S. occupation of so many places across the world. U.S. military bases are scattered across every corner of the globe with the singular purpose of projecting U.S. power and maintaining U.S. hegemony. When we put ourselves in the firing line by projecting our power, we put these soldiers at risk, and more critically, we put the lives of thousands, if not millions, of other people at risk as well. Those people are the ones we should be focusing on, the people who have been terrorized for so many decades by U.S. imperial activity. And when we see headlines like this, we need to understand that these deaths are the natural consequence of the United States trying to ensure that it maintains its spot at the top of the world's hierarchy. If we are to build a better world for all of us, it starts with the erosion of U.S. imperialism. It starts by closing down the bases. It starts by the soldiers going back to where they live. But in the short term, it means the end of an operation that's named like a fucking meme. Something worth thinking about, I think. But yeah, as always, Assalamu alaikum.
Iran just raised a red flag of revenge following the killing of their supreme leader. Apparently, in Islamic symbolism, a red flag over a mosque represents unjust bloodshed and call for vengeance. And a red flag in a woman in 2026 is a symbol of daddy issues. The flag was raised on top of a mosque in the holy city of Qom, and they vowed to hit Israel and US with force never experienced before. Iran has also purchased missiles from China, which have incredible reach, power and agility. 31 people have been killed in Lebanon. Airports and cities across the Middle East have been bombed. And honestly, if we all make it to 2027, I solemnly swear that I'll abstain from sexual intercourse until marriage. I won't drink or go clubbing or watch porn. And I'll also apologize to the LGBTQ community.
Why the fuck you lying?
Iranians today gathered in the thousands chanting death to America. Also, if Australia follows suit and goes to fight in the Middle East, don't count me in. I'm an immigrant, remember?
Facts.
As of always, I'm just a messenger, so don't shoot the messenger.
What do you mean Netanyahu ran to Germany? Swear the jokes just write themselves. This is just... oh my gosh. So apparently he was denied access into Cyprus, and also he had previously left Israel because he's afraid that he's going to be taken out. And he's been circling around the Schofield airport for 7 hours. Mind you, this happened at like 8:30 p.m. Pretty sure their time. So this is very, very fresh. This is crazy. This is crazy. Also, the red flag of Iran has been lifted. Oh my gosh, bro. This is crazy. This is crazy. Oh my god.
Look at this crater left by a hypersonic Iranian missile in Tel Aviv. That is absolutely crazy. The media doesn't want you to know that this is what Tel Aviv looked like, and then there will be a fourth and a fifth wave of Iranian missiles coming back to Tel Aviv again. Tel Aviv will continue to look like this. I mean, here's what the missile strikes look like on a map. God! You know, Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israel IDF, I don't think your greater Israel project's gonna happen. Not as long as Iran's in the way. Again, look at this crater again. Look at another one. Holy shit. No, they're not just stopping with making Tel Aviv look like this. They've attacked the CIA headquarters in Dubai. They've attacked the UAE, Jordan. They're letting everybody have it. Everybody. If you got a U.S. base, Iran is going to make you fucking feel their power. The U.S. and Israel should have never started this day off attacking schools and unaliving 60-plus Iranian schoolgirls.
All Muslims, we have a huge update. Iran has officially struck multiple countries, including the UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, and Jordan. They struck United States bases in Bahrain, multiple areas in other countries, as well as a Dubai hotel. And individuals in Dubai are reporting that drones have been flying around and doing potential strikes. Wallahi, this is a scary situation. May Allah protect all of us. We don't know what's going to happen in the next 24 to 48 hours, but turn back to Allah before it's too late, and I'll keep you guys updated.
Right, so let's take a deep dive into how the American public is processing this moment, because what is happening isn't just another foreign policy flashback. It's a reflection of who we are as a country right now, talking on behalf of Black Americans and Americans in general. Okay, so we are living through what many analysts are calling one of the most consequential consequences, as in consequential escalations in the United States, foreign involvement since the Iraq War and the Afghanistan War. But unlike those earlier conflicts, this one has struck a rare nerve with every American long before most troops ever stepped foot in the region. And the poll numbers reflect that. The Reuters polls released today shows that a fragile and skeptical public, only 27% support the strikes, while 43% are outright opposed, and the sizable share remains unsure. So that alone tells you something profound about the mindset in the United States right now, whether people is talking to friends, scrolling through posts, watching the news, or hearing stories from veterans. People are thinking deeply about this conflict, its cause, and what it says about Americans' role in the world. And make no mistake, this is personal. Yeah. When news broke that American service members had been unalived, 3 soldiers confirmed unalived and several more wounded, the debate transformed overnight from abstract geopolitics to real human loss. Many Americans are seeing those faces, the family members speaking out, and they are asking, is this worth it? Now, the emotional responses online vary widely. Yeah, so many older generations and hardcore national security supporters, there's a sense of pride in standing against Iran and its proxies. They argue that Iran's government poses a persistent threat, one that could extend beyond its borders and directly challenge U.S. interests. Some see this moment as assertive and necessary. Younger Americans in particular are overwhelmingly more skeptical. They grew up with prolonged wars, a rising cost of living, and the sense that every new foreign conflict seems to come with no clear exit strategy. For many in this group, the question isn't just should we act, but why do we continue to be dragged into wars that don't feel connected to our everyday safety? There are also large swamps of the public who feel torn in two directions. One hand, they mourn the lost soldiers and they don't want to be seen as weak. On the other hand, they deeply fear that this escalation will draw American war no clear end, heavy costs and devastating consequences for families around the world. And it's not only individual citizens. Entire communities are taking to the streets to voice their stances. In cities like Washington and New York, demonstrations have erupted in support of peace and de-escalation. Some carry signs saying bring our troops home, while others march in support of allied defense and national strength. Online, millions are sharing clips of both arguments, and debates are stretching across comment sections, live streams, chats, and viral thread with thousands of replies. Political leaders too are echoing this divide. Some Republican figures have argued loudly that branding the strikes on Iran has anything less than necessary, is dangerous and undermines military morale. Others, including some Democratic lawmakers, are pushing for renewed diplomacy and negotiations, arguing the administration to avoid further escalation and focus on peace talks rather than warfare. And here's another layer. Beyond U.S. borders, world leaders from Europe to the Middle East are warning that the conflict could spiral into something far bigger. Some are calling for restraint. Others are condemning the strikes. This global chorus, whether it's France arguing caution for China, denouncing the U.S. action, adds another emotional dimension to how Americans are perceiving the situation. But at the end of the day, what's driving all this public engagement and intense debate is something very human: fear, uncertainty, pride, grief, and moral conflict. Because when you see American troops unalived, when you watch our families react on camera, when you see global markets wobble, and when political leaders spar publicly, it pushes every American to ask hard questions about sacrifice, security, leadership, and the future. These aren't abstract issues. They go straight to the heart of how people define their values, their trust in governments, and what it means to be an American in a world that seems more unstable than ever. And that's why this story isn't just trending, it's electrifying. Every platform it touches, it's not just about geopolitics, it's about national identity, existential fear, and the raw emotions that bind us people, as people, as a whole, as people. That's the real reason Americans are divided, and that's the real story behind this headline. You guys, I'm leaving this to you guys. I want you to let me know what you think about this video in the comment section down below. And if this was your first time to be on this channel, guys, go ahead, subscribe and turn on that notification bell so that every time I upload such videos, you guys, you'll be notified. I'll definitely see you in my next video. Please stay peaceful.